so we have another unboxing from Moyu, and in this one we have a bunch of new cubes. We've got the GTS3, the barreled Redi cube, which I didn't even know was coming out, and also the SenHuan ZhanLang 2x2, and a couple of their new cube mats. So let's just go ahead and get into these things. I'll just go ahead and open up these cube mats first, and we'll see how they look. Oh wow, that actually looks pretty cool. Let me make some room here. Here is the mat. You can see it has such a crazy design on it, but it does look really cool. And you've got this new shape here with the indents on the top and bottom edges. And yeah, overall the quality seems very, very nice. It uses a pretty thick and soft and spongy material. And yeah, just overall it seems very, very nice. The only thing for me personally that I don't necessarily like about it is that it is a little bit big. I believe this one is the one that Moyu advertised as being specifically for speed cubing, but it does seem kind of big and too wide for that. Here's the Redi barrel just for size comparison. I mean, just putting my hands on it, it does seem a little bit too big, but of course these mats are definitely multi-purpose. It doesn't necessarily have to only be for speed cubing. You can definitely just put it on your desk and just leave it as your setup and everything. It does look really cool, but yeah, just personally, I don't really like using these huge mats. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and crack open the other mat they sent along with this one. Yeah, this one is definitely the longer speed stacks type mat. It also has that speed stacks design on it, but it still looks very, very nice. I'm really liking the design on these actually. Personally, I don't see myself getting much use out of these just because they're a little bit big, but they do look really nice, and it's nice to just have mats lying around whenever you may need them. But yeah, definitely check these out if you're looking for some new mats. Definitely really great quality and a really cool design. Alright, so getting into the actual cubes now, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the Redi cube barrels. So yeah, these look really, really nice, and based on the packaging, these are designed by Peel. I'm sure I totally butchered that, but yeah, very, very cool design. And I mean, I think it's just nice to see that Moyu is producing more unique and interesting non-WTA puzzles like these. So here is the stickerless version, just the colored one. And there's also a transparent stickerless version, which I think is just really, really awesome. I think it looks really nice. Yeah, that looks really great. And you can definitely see the Redi cube design on it. So it's been just barreled on these sides, and you can still see the top and bottom faces. Yeah, it turns really, really nicely, extremely smooth, and it definitely feels high quality. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scramble this up. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely don't think this is going to be extremely difficult. It is going to be pretty intuitive. If you know how to solve the Redi cube, it's not that much different from it. It's just barreled on the sides, and it's just a fun shape mod of the Redi cube. And yeah, again, the quality is very nice, turns extremely well, and it doesn't really seem to be locking up, which is nice for a non-WTA puzzle. Because, I mean, I say this a lot, and I will say it again. Even though you're not going to be speed solving non-WTA puzzles, it's nice to be able to turn it easily and that it turns well. You know, just for a pleasant solving experience. As I'm turning this transparent stickerless version, this one definitely seems a little bit more tight than the stickerless version. This one just seems a little bit sticky feeling in the turning. I don't know, just something about it. There's a lot of friction going on for some reason. So I'm not really sure when these will be released, but I can definitely tell that they are going to be super fun puzzles. So if you like the Redi cube, definitely consider picking these up. Alright, so now for the WTA puzzles. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the ZhanLang 2x2s just because I'm a little bit more excited for the GTS3. So here is the new 2x2 from SenHuan. I have the non-magnetic version and also the magnetic version. So of course we're going to go ahead and start off with the non-magnetic version. So SenHuan doesn't have a very good record of producing necessarily good or viable speed cubes. So, I mean, it's cool to see that they're still producing cubes, and I'm excited to see what this design is gonna be like. Let's see, new box here. Oh, that's really, really cool, actually. So opening it up, you have the cube. We have a Moyu stand that's clear, Team Moyu cards and all that stuff, and also a screwdriver. And so now onto the cube. Right away I can see that it does have primary internals. Wow, so first few turns, I'm really liking the feeling of this thing. So SenHuan has a history of producing very crispy and crunchy feeling cubes like the Mars 3x3s, and I mean just the smoothness and butteriness of this 2x2 is just a really nice surprise because personally I do lean towards the smoother feeling puzzles, and this one I'm really enjoying so far. I guess describing the actual feeling other than it being really buttery smooth, it kind of reminds me of the Yushin White 2x2. It kind of has that OP Diane type smoothness, but this is much, much faster than the Yushin White, which I think a lot of people will like. And I guess in a way, it's sort of like a lighter, smoother, and faster version of the Weipo. But yeah, overall, I'm really liking the feeling of this thing so far. Corner cutting, it's not bad. It takes a little effort to do 45, but it can do it. But nonetheless, you really don't need that much corner cutting. And reverse, it's kind of lacking, to be honest, but I'm gonna have to see how the locking situation is gonna be like after I fully set this thing up. But first impressions, definitely very impressive. I want to check out the magnetic version because this is a pretty fast cube, so let's see what the magnets do to it. Alright, so very nice packaging again. So here's a cube in stickerless, and you get the same thing as just the stand, screwdriver. Oh, we also have some spare magnets as well. So magnets, stand, screwdriver, and of course the regular Moyu cards and everything. So on to the puzzle now. Yeah, these are very, very nice shades. It's kind of like the MoYu GTS3M, slightly darker shades, but I can see that they used a new yellow on here, which is very nice. So turning it, this one definitely feels a little bit slower and more dry just out of the box. Turning it slowly, you can definitely feel the magnets, but they're certainly on the lighter side. But I think nonetheless, they do seem to help control this puzzle a little bit. I mean, it still is fast, but definitely more controllable than the non-magnetic version for sure. Yeah, this one just kind of goes at whatever speed you push it to. And this one, it has a sort of more reasonable speed to it. So yeah, if you're one for more tactile feeling magnets, the magnetic version definitely isn't going to be one that you're going to want to get. You may want to consider just getting the stock non-magnetic version and then magnetizing it yourself, because the magnets are definitely not noticeable while turning with this factory magnetized version. But you know, if you just want that controllability factor that the magnets provide, then go for the magnetic version, but yeah, not super noticeable, besides just a slight upgrade in the performance. But I mean, overall, this SenHuan ZhanLang 2x2, it's very, very impressive, just first impressions out of the box. It's nice to see that SenHuan is still producing cubes and, you know, it's just staying connected with the community, so I'm gonna have to go set these up and see how they turn out, but definitely some very promising things. And so now for the one that's been super hyped up lately, the GTS3M, and this is the sculpted version. Alright, so here it is. So we've got this little accessories box here, which has just a bunch of little knickknacks, and then also the cube in another box for packaging and display box. So yeah, that is just very, very luxurious looking. So going over just the accessories first. So the biggest implementation and new innovation with this GTS3M, aside from the sculpted edges on this version, it has a new dual adjusting system just to play around more with the spring tensions. So in the box, we just have screwdriver, magnets, and also these tensioning type tools. And down at the bottom, we have these. And these are really the biggest thing that people are most excited for about this cube. So these little gears here, they go into the centerpiece, and then it helps you adjust the spring to a different spring level. So I'll have to play around with this more, but basically it just kind of turns it and gives you more opportunities to adjust the spring tension to your liking. And so getting into the actual cube now, let's go ahead, pop this open. And so here is the cube. And then also underneath this case, we have this little top here, and you can just place that inside the hole and display the cube, which is just so extra. But I mean, it's really, really cool. So let's go ahead, put this away, and see how the GTS3M performs. So right away, it's definitely very, very crispy and fast. The feeling itself is very reminiscent of the GTS2, but maybe just slightly crispier and faster feeling. Magnets seem about the same strength as the magnetized GTS2 stock from the Moyu factory. I think really the only thing that's the biggest difference with this GTS3 is the new spring tensioning system, which I'll go ahead and pop open for you guys to see. So yeah, there it is. You see the blue gear right there. You can just adjust that itself, and it'll give you more options for different spring tensions and just different feelings. So I'm going to have to play around with that on my own time, but I believe what Moyu had said was that out of the box, just stock, it does come on its loosest setting, which I think I'm not really taking to right now, which is why I'm not exactly just super impressed by it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely is a good cube, but it's just too similar to the GTS3M for me. But yeah, I am definitely going to have to set it up before I really just judge the cube and provide a well-rounded opinion about it. So as for the sculpted edges, I mean, I definitely appreciate that Moyu is trying out something new. And I believe this version is around 56 millimeters, and the non-sculpted version is 55.5, same as the GTS2. And even though it is a very slight difference with the sculpted edges, I don't know, it just feels very obstructive. Personally, I'm just very sensitive about these types of things. But yeah, it still turns and performs well nonetheless. But I think, general rule of thumb, if you don't have a problem gripping just a normal 3x3 without these edges here, then don't get the sculpted version. In any case, you may not like it, and it may deter you from your judgment about this cube. So I think, if anything, just go for the regular version. But it definitely is interesting, and I like that Moyu is trying out new things. Corner cutting is not good out of the box. That's really surprising. It does half a piece with very little effort. Reverse, yeah, up to about half a piece as well. I mean, I think it really just needs a good setup done to it before I can really just think about whether I like it or not. But let's just go ahead and see if I can crack open the mechanism here. Alright, so it looks like the main differences are really in the edges. Of course, it definitely is very reminiscent of the GTS 1 and 2. I see a lot of combined mechanisms here. It just looks very, very intricate. You've got multiple tracks in this design. And yeah, I mean, just overall, I can tell why this cube is so fast. Oh, and that's interesting, actually. They've got a new white core in here. Centerpieces are pretty much the same at the base. And I think as far as the center caps go, the only difference is in the cap design. You've got this new 4-slot design here to ensure that it's not going to pop out easily. Not that I think that was a problem in previous versions, but I mean, it's nice to see that Moyu is still improving a lot of details. So bottom line, I am just going to have to set this cube up before I really think about whether or not it's that much better than the GTS3M, or if it's worth the $35 price tag. First impressions, it definitely is a good cube, and I do recommend it, but if you are going to get this cube, don't think it's going to be drastically different from the GTS3M. The feeling itself is definitely very similar to it, if not just much faster than it and a little bit more crispy. But the most interesting thing about this version is the sculpted edges and the center cap design and the new tensioning dual adjustment system. So yeah, really all I'm trying to say is don't hype it up for yourself and don't set too high expectations. But nonetheless, it still is a good cube, and I'm excited to see how it gets after some setting up. Alright, so that is going to do it for this unboxing. So as for the WCA puzzles, I'm just going to have to set them up before I really give my own recommendations for them. But yeah, definitely some really neat things in here and some really exciting releases from Moyu coming. So if you have any questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.